Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Martin, I was talking to John Hill yesterday, former guest of the podcast. So he was, he's selling his house, and it's been on the market for a couple weeks, and there hasn't been a single offer. And it's an Airbnb. So he's opened it back up to Airbnb, and he could be bummed out, and he's in a completely different state. So now he's got to manage this Airbnb from Alabama that's in Oklahoma, and it's that's not fun. But he says, we actually pay a landscaping guy about $500 a month, and then we pay a cleaning lady about $300 a month, and we actually get to help them provide for their family because now we're keeping the Airbnb open.
Yeah.
And they may have lost a significant job for them if we would have sold the house. And we're not like hurting for money, and the Airbnb is profitable. So maybe it's a good thing that we haven't sold yet, and
Yeah.
timing will work out. Right. And so I think that cognitive framing is such an important thing. We kind of talked about this. I don't know if it was our last episode. I don't know the schedule necessarily, but talked about how a pain that we have is going to be much more powerful in persuading our decisions and our actions. Like we'll be much more quick to take action on a pain than we will on an opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And if we can actually reframe things as a pain, that it might actually help us take action faster. Right.
Right.
For example, if we're thinking about our health analogy earlier, right? And it's hard to go to the gym, it's hard to eat the salad or to do the intermittent fasting or whatever. And we're thinking about it in terms of this day, we could change the perspective and saying, man, I might miss my grandson's graduation if I'm not healthy. In 5 years, he's going to be graduating, or his wedding is coming up in a little bit of time. And if I'm not healthy, I won't be able to walk down the aisle with the family. I won't be able to do this. And we see it as a negative, as a pain. If we frame it in that way, and we now have this goal of like, man, I'm going to walk down that aisle. I'm not going to be able to be the one that's in a walker or, in a wheelchair. Now we've framed it in a way that we have something to strive for, right? So I think cognitive framing is very important. It's just like you said at the beginning, it's the story that you're telling yourself, right?
Yeah.
And excuses aren't going to help you.
The idea, the frame that you put around your pain, it's going to determine if it becomes bitterness or if it becomes a breakthrough.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people walking around with a lot of visitors. I mean, we've all been there. I'm not saying that I don't have, but you know what it's like to live a life where you're bitter and angry because of that pain, you didn't frame it, you didn't work through it. And that's the difference. That's a huge difference. There's a lot of wounds out there. People are still walking around with a lot of bitterness because of that moment, and in that moment, not dealing with the pain in the right way.
I know it's not this easy, but I work with so many people, and I have these issues in my family and with me and my friends, so it's not all work. But the difference between thinking, wow, what a great day this is, I'm going to learn something today, and getting up in the morning, and the first thing you do is the mental checklist to look for what's bad. And I've done that a lot. But, everything's okay. And I think, oh, no, crap, I got to do it. It is just, don't do that. Just don't. But it's evidently harder than that. Just don't say that negative thing. And Brian Tracy says, act as if, which is kind of the equivalent of fake it till you make it. And he said, but just act as if it is positive, and it will become that way. And it really is, it take a nanosecond to change what you think. But I don't know what goes on in the brain, if it's actual physical lesions or chemistry or what's going on, that's so hard for people to do. But if you can master that, my gosh, you're in control of your universe.
It reminds me of the book by Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah.
Really great book that you can listen to on Spotify. If podcasters are checking this out on Spotify, it's a free audiobook, or included with Spotify if you pay for it. But wonderful book that just talks about this reframing of negative things, of obstacles that are in their way, and seeing them as blessings, seeing them as opportunities, and seeing them as the way forward to become who they want to become, to do something significant, to make the impact they're looking to make, to become the person they're looking to become.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up with rhythms, because you've already mentioned behavioral rhythms, but I want to understand, and that you mentioned that this is something that you're in the middle of right now. So maybe let's understand what you're striving for, the challenges that you're running into with behavioral rhythms.
Yeah, well, I'm in the middle of all of them, so I'm constantly.
We all are.
constantly
We all are.
Right. And I think that goes back to the authenticity. I think too many people try to get in front of people and say, "I got it all together. You need to do these 5 steps, and your life will be so much better." Well, I mean, we're all in the process of learning and getting better. But rhythms, what I'm struggling with is well, I'll just tell you my morning routine right now. I have the opportunity to have a very consistent morning routine, but because I might be traveling, have to be somewhere early in the morning here, or just because I'm lazy, I don't get up and do. But just this week, it's been nice. My wife and I have committed to, okay, we're going to get up and walk. It's not an aggressive workout, but we're going to get up and walk together 4 times this week. So it's just small steps like that I've actually felt more refreshed this week, because in my mind, I know that I've had this little bit of a physical rhythm of working out and getting to spend that time with my wife just walking. So those are the type of rhythms I'm talking about. And another thing is a rhythm that really helped me is sitting down and just my morning quiet time, my Bible study, and then journaling. What's going on in my life, and then that's where I kind of started that behavior. I'm capable, reliable, trusted, dedicated. And what does that mean? What does that mean to be all those, as a father, as a husband, as a business owner, as a team member? What does that mean in those areas? And that really just starts your morning by just kind of expanding, framing your whole day, right? So physical is one that I'm struggling with right now. I got to get in a better habit of taking care of myself better. It's not necessarily the food intake and all the intake, it's the output, right, of being healthy and the decisions I make with a workout. And so I'm working with that one. So if you have any tips or tricks, let me know.
Yeah, shed load.
Shed load. Yeah. Hey, I'm there. I'm shedding.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.